All right, people, back again. We got us another theory on the H blocks. We got spiked some interest in the H block world. Some H blocks up in Tiwanaku, Pumapunku. What are these things doing? And basically, got another theory. They're weights, and they were used on an advanced or an ancient, whatever you want to call it. H-block artificial rotational gravity machine. Ancient space station designed with artificial gravity. You get into your movies there, a lot of the space stations, you know, Star Trek, Halo, a couple of, you know, I don't know, the Star Wars, whatever, they all had some kind of artificial gravity machine. And I spent the better part of 30 some odd years in the power plant industry. And working on turbines, gas turbines, jet engines, air derivative gas turbines, and steam turbines. And you know, they both basically all have some kind of you know, we have weights, and you know, we balance these things out. We call them shots, but the turbine blades themselves have roots. And they're dovetail roots. A lot of them are dovetail roots. They slide right into the wheel. And these, you know, these H blocks look like giant weights that would go on an artificial gravity machine. So we could be in space. Astronauts could be in space. These pictures are a little tough. This camera's on its way out. I'm waiting for my books to get on the bestseller list so I can upgrade. But for right now, they're H blocks. They have a you know, dovetail slot and the recessed top view. If you look at the top of these things, I'll show you the pictures in a minute. Anyways, they attach to a spoke. You know, a piece of steel that would run through the you know, the diameter of you know, the space station, and you put like hundreds or thousands of these things up there. A good artificial gravity machine that has been proposed, designed from you know, a lot of theoretical physicists and you know, space station designers would have these you know, these machines basically are you know, 300 meters, or is the diameter of a football field. So we're talking about a large machine here, and you would need weights, and these are the weights. These are the weights that you're going to look for. The H blocks themselves, no two are the same. As far as weight, you know, the recessed joints are the same, but a lot of them have, you know, the different sizes. But that's indicative of, you know, how to balance a gravity machine out. Or like I said, a turbine wheel. You would you know, adjust the weights, adjust the blades. You know, you do a you know, you do your readings, and you come up with where it's out of balance. And you know, you check out the orbit. Basically, you track the orbit of the shaft that these weights are on. Whether you got a square orbit, or you know, you want to have a round orbit. But a lot of times you'll end up with an oval orbit or a square orbit, and then you adjust the weights and get that thing into a circular orbit. So you know, tracking it again, and I'm going to give you a couple of designs. This is a follow-up of a video I just put out saying the H blocks were used as strong backs. It's still a possibility they could have been used as strong backs. Well, you know, so this is an older theory that I had. And I said, you know, there's some interest, and I said, well, I'll put this one out, see what I get. You know, I'm kind of leaning towards this gravity thing right now after you know, getting back into this theory and actually drawing it out. You can see like the red would be the spoke, and or the hammerhead as I call it, and then you have two H blocks opposed to each other. All right, these things are, you know, actually it's a pretty big machine, but it's you know, basically it gives you a visual on what I'm talking about. The H blocks. Now, if you look at the H block, they gouged out the front, cut out the front, and they left the back. You know, a large piece of stone on the back is what you would do to protect the integrity of the stone. Like, you know, once you gouge out the front of the stone, you weaken it. So if you want to keep the strength and integrity of the stone, you would leave mass on the back of the cut, and that's exactly what these people did. And so I'm thinking these things were set up for to take some serious centrifugal force without basically coming apart. Let's see, we got the H-block spoke hammerhead. Okay, this is like, my idea of how these things were connected together. And basically this steel, saying basically a lot, gotta get another word. Maybe one of these days I'll read the dictionary and find another word. Anyways, you get an alloy. It'd be like whatever, some kind of chromoly, titanium, any kind of steel, and you'd slide that hammerhead, that recessed dovetail shaped hammerhead right into the top or into the side or wherever you want to call it of the H block, and it would lock in. So there you go again. Now the back recessed area of the H block has a has a little bit of a gouge in it. There's a recess beyond the recess, and that's something similar to the turbine technology, where you would put a bolt in there or some kind of mechanism to tighten down the H blocks. Once it's on this hammerhead or the spoke, you'd also have some kind of a methodology of cranking up on it with bushings and different material to tighten it up and make it snug on that hammerhead. I'm trying to, I got a lot of the drawings here, but some of these are pretty intricate, and CAD CAM. I'm not doing CAD CAM unless you people pay me. It's not going to happen. We're doing paint. Hey, buy some books. I'll get someone else to do the CAD CAM, and they can give me some great graphics, and we can really put this thing, out there. But this is the upshot of what I'm talking about. This is a fully assembled, your rotational gravity machine made of H blocks. So you'd have the spokes going from one end to the other, and they would tie. You have one H block and the other on one end of the spoke, and then you go to the hammerhead, and you go to the other end, and you have an H block. So they're interlocked with each other, and they just have a large spoke that holds them all in place. And obviously they would connect in the center of the space station and create the the artificial gravity that you're looking for. This is the typical explanation of artificial gravity in a space station. You're rotating it at whatever, how many RPMs you need to give you a 1G, which is equivalent to the Earth's gravitational field. And you do your centrifugal force, and the astronauts can go for a walk around the outer edge of the space station 2-3 times a day. Keep their heart, their brains, their bone, so they don't lose any mass. Keep their muscles tight. Stay healthy in space. It's kind of like getting off topic, but my gravitational, I got my fourth law of gravity, which introducing a word called centrifugal force, where I include the subatomic world, where my colleagues don't. They just do the straightforward, and the subatomic, do their equations based on what they see and feel, or not even really, but I include the subatomic world, and I think the subatomic world flows in spinning mass, which would explain a lot of the centrifugal and centripetal forces and actions that can't be explained with the Newtonian and Einsteinian theories. So just pushing it out there that the subatomic world is included in my theories, and there is a flow, like a spinning flywheel. You're liberating the gravitons from the radial tip of the flywheel, and they flow back to the shaft, to flow back to singularity, because There's a low gravitational field at the shaft and a high gravitational field at the radial tip of the flywheel. Check out one of my other videos on anti-gravity. There's no such thing as anti-gravity, but I had to come up with something that everybody can basically understand. If I named it gravity manipulation, I probably would have got one view on it. So so you got to use the buzzwords, but it is gravity manipulation. This is gravity manipulation. So moving out of my theory, this would more or less, if you follow my theory, you would move into a very intricate, high-tech machine with these weights, unlike the simplistic dude here that's just spinning roundy. So you need this particular system. You need something that's 100 yards or 300 meters in diameter. If you get into my system, it doesn't have to. Maybe a couple hundred feet, maybe 100 feet. You could get the same G-force, and you might even be able to stack. Like a lot of time, nobody's come up with a gravitational system to do stacking. Stacking basically is, like your apartment high-rise or your buildings. It's all levels, floors, but so you'd have like a the Starship Enterprise, if you will, but for simplistic design, you got the round type of space station, big circular thing. Like this is really simple. This is the wheel, a couple of ladybugs in there, and the tire, giving you seeing how they're standing sideways on the wall because of the rotational force of the wheel. And that's basically the wheel. The outer edge of the wheel would be where the H blocks are, and the spokes would be the spoke hammerheads that I'm talking about that connect the H blocks together through the whole space station. This is your high-tech space station. The ship pulling in, the outer wheel here, that would be, all your H blocks would be in there and rotating around and creating the artificial gravity for the astronauts, so they're keeping them healthy. Another superimposed space station out there on top of the blue marble. Look at that, there's a curvature on that. It looks like it could be around Earth. Anyways, not to get off topic, but yeah, so this is basically another look at the sci-fi community on space stations with artificial gravity. We got another guy here. He's actually walking on the outer edge. Right below his feet would be the H blocks, and he's just trucking around, and he's getting his workout. There'd be some, if you did have like an artificial gravity machine, which is these giant rotating H blocks in space, you'd be walking okay, but any sudden moves you might fall down flat on your face. So it would take a little while to get used to this type of artificial gravity, but it's a lot better than what they're doing right now. So just floating around up in the space station and basically evaporating and disintegrating the body. So so this is what I'm talking about. So getting back to the H block, the origin of the H block, we can basically say that there was an advanced society on the planet. There, you look at all the old ancient texts. There, there's plenty of stories out there. I'm sure we were colonizing Mars before we colonized Earth. Who knows? The people on Earth, Mars might have created the Earth. It goes on and on and on. I wrote a couple of books. There is something about the moon, co-authored with Wendy Salter, and I also wrote Pyramid Gravity Force. Both books have a moon on it, on the cover, and both books are into heavy-duty theoretical physics, right on the money as far as the coming ice age, the interglacial periods. The moon drives everything. The moon's been on the pay no never mind list for a long time in the West and in the East. So it's been demonized and bastardized, and everybody run for cover, close the the curtains, and don't look at it because you'll go insane. But I'm here to tell you I've looked at the moon quite often, and well, you know, I'm not insane. I might be crazy, but I'm not insane. So you know, just check out these two books. Again, you know, hit me up with any questions on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, and you know, I'll keep putting out these. You know, I got a lot of downloads. I got you know, a lot of stuff that I want to dump on the YouTube channel. There's no money in book sales. Yeah, if you're out there, you think you're gonna make any money on this stuff, forget about it. Anyways, I got some books out there. Check them out if you really want to get into you know, making a difference in the shift in the paradigm. And who knows, it might even save you know, save your butt. Especially there is something about the moon. I got 2 websites I'll post on the this channel. You can check out where the books are, and check out all my other you know, YouTube videos, and let me know what you think. You know, we're all in it together. This ain't a competition. Just put my thoughts out here. I asked some questions. I got the download. So when you get that, you get the responsibility. You got to pass it along. And we're up to 16 minutes and 12 seconds. That ain't too bad. Peace out, people.